So, how does it feel to suffer as all of your victims?
How many lives has that hand
We are
taken?
both steeped in the blood of our countless victims.
Could a Ninja Gaiden 3 Black fix Ninja Gaiden 3? An interesting question, considering that the title of Black holds an interesting weight in the Ninja Gaiden franchise. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, obviously, when it comes to Ninja Gaiden 3, it's no secret 3 is widely hated for many reasons, mainly in the fandom. Despite Team Ninja wanting to make a very good third game in the series, it does lean into a lot of the things that were trending in that point in time around the 2000s, going more in depth in narrative elements and also balls to the walls action and set pieces, and quick time events and other various things. This was something that the fans really hated by the time Ninja Gaiden 3 came out. Its imbalance when it comes to the narrative and its difficulty and the lack of weapons for Ryu, and you got a really lackluster game. It was such a big uproar from fans that Team Ninja actually listened to the complaints, took an L, and tried to fix the game by re-releasing it. We got Ninja Gaiden Razor's Edge, which doesn't really fix the game, but it does make it a little bit of a better experience. The things that people hated, like the quick time events and stuff like that, are still there, and the problems with the story are still there, but they try to fix the enemy and AI design and difficulty, and also give Ryu new weapons. But regardless of those small little tweaks, that doesn't really outright fix the game and its fundamental flaws that the fans have. With it being the year of the ninja, so to speak, getting to Black, and also Ragebound and 4 coming out later on, I do think there are a lot of ways that Ninja Gaiden 3 could be fixed with the complaints I've already mentioned, like the many attempts of trying to remake 2. 3 Black could be a blend of what they did with 2 and also 1, looking back and learning from both experiences. Speaking of experiences, let's actually get into the fundamental changes to the experience of Ninja Gaiden 3 when it comes to the story and also the characterization of Ryu with the story section. Now, I'll start off with Ryu's characterization and the changes that I will make to it first, because I am going to be keeping some elements from the OG while also changing stuff around. Now, a lot of people found it out of place for Ryu to be questioning whether or not he's a murderer and a bunch of other things. So I wanted to find a way to keep elements of the arc that they actually had for Ryu in the game, with the grip of murder being a curse that acts as a catalyst to explore Ryu's inner darkness, something that I want to keep instead of getting rid of. Instead of painting Ryu in an ambiguous light, I actually want to explore his relationship with the dragon lineage, also him having to save the world time and time again, kill these different threats time and time again, and his relationship with the idea of killing and why he does it. Does he also start to enjoy it? I also want to focus on the idea of if he just a blunt instrument, if he just a killer for hire to go after these people when these ending world scenarios happen. I want to take a little bit of inspiration from the Mark of Cain arc from Supernatural, where I do want to kind of focus on his relationship with the dragon lineage and also why he does these missions, why he's constantly having to save the world. Also touch on the inner darkness of the character, where maybe he does slightly enjoy killing these people, not just doing it to save the world, but there is a part of him that he actually enjoys the bloodlust, getting out his aggression, getting out his rage, killing whoever he has to stop whatever's going on. Where this way the arc is still kind of a manifestation of what we originally had, but it's actually made a lot better and a lot more complex, going with what we really wanted to see from the character, where it doesn't feel out of place. Where the curse on his arm does act as a corrupting force, and it's not just a ticking time clock that will eventually kill him, it's almost a dark mirror hoisted into the character's face, regardless of his good intentions, regardless of him trying to save the world. Good or bad, the people that he has killed in the past have probably all been bad. Maybe some of them have been innocent, and maybe this is a window into exploring that aspect. Some of them are just people following orders, and maybe some are civilians. Who knows? Maybe there's a way to tweak and rewrite the arc to make it make a lot more sense with removing certain things, but I actually like what they had, and I wanted to keep aspects of it. Moving away from Ryu's arc in this game to the story itself, oh boy, if Ninja Gaiden 2 can cut things when it comes to boss fights and story elements, and still feel like a solid story, still I think I can do the same for 3, right?
You're joking.
I didn't realize how infuriatingly challenging this is going to be. Well, obviously because Ryu's arc is still having elements of the original but still being refined, how could I refine the story? After literally banging my head against the wall for a good half hour, there's so many convoluted problems with the original, what could I actually keep and what could I actually get rid of? With Ryu's arc taking a lot of inspiration from Supernatural when it comes to the Mark of Cain and other various things, dealing with darkness but also moving the character forward. This time around, I actually wanted to have the villains challenge the character in a unique facet. This time around, instead of the villains making him question his killing and his methods, instead of that, I want there to be a parallel between Ryu and also the Regent in a different way. Instead of the whole you and I are a lot alike and now we kill and stuff like that, would be a little bit of that, but there also would be this question. Your father trained you. You've been inaugurated into the dragon lineage from a young age. You were marked as a ninja from the moment you were born, and that is all you ever known. The Regent would actually make him question, have you ever thought about being anything more than that? The world needs saving, they send you, your blunt little instrument, kill, you kill, you kill, to save the world, but do you really save it? When there's another threat right around the corner. The question that could be asked is, does Ryu save the world because he has to, or does he save it because that's all he knows how to do, because he's never had an opportunity to be anything more? Because all he's ever known is how to kill and how to save the world. Arguably, I feel that would be an interesting premise that actually moves the character forward while also kind of keeping within the same confines as the original narrative. And the man in the mask, being the Regent, actually is a father himself, so it actually could add a bit of complexity between his parallels with Ryu in the story. As for the Hidden Alchemist, I do want to expand on them a little bit more and actually make them more than a terrorist organization. I want them to be a splinter cell of multiple different clans, but the main thing is I want to tie them more into the actual history of the Ninja Gaiden series, so I wanted a massive bit of them to actually be a splinter cell of the organization that worshipped the Archfiend, that broke away from that side of things and actually started to do something completely different. Instead of trying to destroy the world, they're actually kind of doing something very similar to what the Order of the Sword did in Devil May Cry 4, and I actually think this would make the most sense considering my changes to the organization as a whole, taking a bit of inspiration from the Order of the Sword and the Losum Numinatos. The whole plotline when it comes to the goddess could be reworked, as most of the game the Regent is taunting Ryu not just with the idea of killing but also his history and also the idea that his father forced him into this life. The interesting parallel would probably be when it's revealed that the organization is going to be using the Regent's daughter for their plan, and that's where there'd be an interesting side of it. That's where the idea of the goddess and the changes to that whole thing could be interesting. But I got no ideas for that, so let's just move on to gameplay. Now, obviously, I do want to make Ninja Gaiden 3's gameplay a lot more like it was and actually expand on what we had from 2. When it comes to the Curse of Murder and how it affects Ryu and the other various things, it will have elements from what we originally had. But I'm also going to be borrowing from classic God of War when it comes to the rage mechanic, and also a little bit from Yakumo from Ninja Gaiden 4 as well, with some ideas I had for mechanics. Now, when it comes to the mechanics and what I would actually add, I would mix together what we had already, but kind of take it a little bit more in a different direction, borrowing the idea of rage and also blood. We're pulling a little bit from Ninja Gaiden 4, with Yakumo's gameplay style revolving around him using his own blood as a weapon. I wanted to take that and apply it to Ryu, but instead of him using his own blood, he would be using the blood of his enemies. This way it changes the blood essence aspect of things, where you could kill an enemy and in that kill, the blood would charge up the sword, and you can use a blood charge attack, and then the more enemies that are killed would charge up more blood attacks, it to where the enemy's blood actually fuels your attacks versus your own. And as for the rage aspect, there's multiple ways we can handle it, tie it in with your blood attacks, or just to give us a rage bar. I don't really know. I do want to give Ryu some brand new weapons that we've never had before, and I really couldn't come up with too many, so yeah. Now, as for enemies, we would be getting some brand new ones. Some of the ones that we already had, like the typical soldiers, will be a part of it. The alchemist enemy type will actually be tweaked to make them a lot better to fight. We can introduce some new enemies that go along with the new mechanics when it comes to the Curse of Murder and stuff like that. I do have some pretty cool concepts. You'll be seeing them on screen and how they would work. Usually, I would also say that we can restore cut enemy types for Ninja Gaiden 3, but I honestly couldn't find anything when it comes to concept art or cut content for 3, but you know, there's there's that. Also, when it comes to the side characters and the ladies, most of them would remain the same. Some sections would be slightly tweaked, but I really don't have too many things for them outside of maybe giving them some extra weapons, maybe expanding on their combat ever so slightly, because I feel like they kind of are underwhelming. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but you know, that's just an idea that I had. But these are all just my ideas and ways that I believe that Ninja Gaiden 3 Black could actually outright fix Ninja Gaiden 3. Let me know in the comments whether you agree with some of my ideas or disagree and think my ideas are garbage. Let me know some of yours in the comments down below. I always love reading other people's different concepts, so leave them in the comments. I love to read them. Make sure to like this video if you did enjoy, or leave a dislike. It's perfectly fine. And also make sure to subscribe and also hit the bell notification to be notified whenever I upload when it comes to Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Ninja Gaiden, or any other content under the sun. Make sure to have a good rest of your guys' day, morning, afternoon, night, or whatever it is for you in the world. And peace out. Bye-bye.